What's up? A to Z Sports Live on a Wednesday, rolling on through this week, the last week of Titans training camp. Sam will be out at the practice field at Ascension St. Thomas Sports Park later on this morning as practice gets underway at 10 a.m. Central Time, inching closer and closer to the season. And Jack, we are 1 week away from knowing the 53-man roster. A week from today, we will be discussing who made and who got cut on the 53-man roster. So we'll have that. But we also today have a little bit of a different topic. We've been in the heat of training camp just about every show with guys who are improving, who is on the bubble, who's most likely to get cut, stock up, stock down, winners and losers, all of that throughout the last 3 to 4 weeks of practices. But we're going to take a step back and look at the NFL as a whole. ESPN.com published an article yesterday about the 5 NFL teams most likely to improve this 2024 NFL season. And shocker, the Titans, not one of the 5 teams most likely to improve, according to ESPN. We'll dive through all of that and figure out what team is least deserving to be on this list of 5 and why I think the Titans should be on this. And then we'll have a little fun with you guys. Jack and I write headlines just about every day. So we're going to ask you guys to write a headline for the Titans a little bit later in the show. So start to break out the vocab words and shake out the cobwebs. So headline time here in Tennessee this morning. Speaking of that, it feels like football time in Tennessee outside. If you stepped outside, it feels incredible. Football weather, thank God. Here we get going, and we're going to wrap it up with a trivia session to end this Wednesday show. So, Jack, welcome in. Let's get it going.
Absolutely. Really fun week to be a Titans fan. A lot to figure out still as the Titans get ready for their week 1 matchup against the Bears here in a few weeks. But while you guys are jumping on in here, I see we've got only 8 likes. If you guys can please drop a thumbs up on Facebook and YouTube, that helps us grow. That helps us reach new audience members. And, with the Titan season right around the corner, we need as many people in here as we possibly can in order to take an accurate temperature of the Titans fan base with some of these major storylines that we're going to have to get to here in a minute. So please like the show on the way in. If you're watching on Facebook, please share the show on the way in. Share it to at least one of your Titans Facebook groups. That would do us a real solid right there. And you can even drop a thumbs up when you've done both like the show and share the show, so we know who are the OGs in the chat here. If you're watching on YouTube, tap that bell icon near the top of your screen and turn your notifications on. You don't want to miss an update. I'm telling y'all, you don't want to miss an update. A to Z Sports is going to have you covered all the way leading up to the football season and then throughout it. You don't want to miss an update. What's going on at practice? What's going on inside the building? A to Z's got you covered. So turn those notifications on if you're watching on YouTube. Finally, if you're watching on Twitch, text that Twitch link around to a Titans text group. Text to a family member. If you've had a Titans conversation with one of your friends over the last week, because I know most of you guys probably have, send them the link today. Let's bring them on in here. It's going to be a fun show. We're going to talk about how the Titans are once again being overlooked. So buckle up. It's going to be a fun ride. And Austin, it's time to get the show on the road.
Yep, let's do it officially. Welcome in the A to Z Sports, powered as always by the BetMGM app. I'm Austin Stanley. He is Jack Gentry, the Titan Up Podcast, and we are Nashville's on-demand sports talk network, going live weekday mornings each and every weekday at around 8-ish on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Links to the show segment by segment on our Twitter X timeline. Also hit us up on Instagram, TikTok, and Threads for more great Titans content. Got to thank our sponsors. They make it happen for us, and they help out all of you, like Wilson County Hyundai. Make them a part of your new car buying process. See them in Lebanon or WilsonCountyHyundai.com. The Bone and Joint Institute, boneandjointtn.org, the region's destination for comprehensive orthopedic and sports medicine care, and Farm Bureau Health Plans. Get better with Farm Bureau Health Plans. You can get a quote today to lower your rate and get better coverage with our link, fbhp.com/ATOZ. For whatever reason, there's a bunch of pizza comments in the YouTube chat. I don't know why. The likes on Facebook have improved to 32 after Jack asked for some of those. Hopefully the YouTube likes will continue to climb as well. And so, Jack, I'm going to ask you to give a little film review here in a second, but I do want to answer this question because Nasser on YouTube asked, is there practice today? Yes, the Titans do have practice today and tomorrow. Both days, practice begins at 10 Central, goes through noon Central. These are the last 2 days of open training camp periods for the media and for the fans and for Buck and the other radio stations that are out there too. The last day that we get the most access we will get at practices for the rest of the season. Because after this week, it is game week, crazy enough. Well, not quite. There's a gap week, then there's game week. But yes, today there is practice. Sam's going to be there, and we'll have all of our great coverage like we have been the last 4 weeks. So that's that update. And apparently I'm taking you guys to CC's Pizza. I don't know about what this is, where this came from. I will say, I don't know if you saw this. Chiefs backup quarterback Ian Book apparently ate 9 slices of pizza at the Chiefs team pizza party last week. That became a story. So Jack, how many pieces of pizza can you eat at one time? Not now, not currently, because as you get older, the number goes down.
Right.
But what is the most slices of pizza you have eaten at one sitting?
Oh man, I mean, I'm sure I probably took down a full pizza at one point. Not
Like
like
a full
you know,
large 8 slices, right?
I mean, probably at some
Yeah.
point. I mean, in college, maybe after like a lot of beer, probably like that. That would probably be the time when I did it. Yeah, I probably there's probably a point in time where I could take down a full guy.
Okay, are you ready? Are you ready
ready.
for this? Because CC's Pizza was brought up. My junior year, the summer going into my junior year of high school, we had a football joint practice at Riverdale High School in Murfreesboro. And it was like a 4-team joint. It was a crazy day. 4-team joint practice at Riverdale High School, full pads, football, getting after it like in July, hot as it could possibly be. And we had to leave the school on the bus at like 7 a.m. and we didn't get back to the school at until noon, starving. So what did a few of my teammates go and do? We hit up CC's Pizza and we decided we're all so hungry. Let's have an eating contest. Who can eat the most slices of pizza at CC's in the next 2 hours? And Jack, I will tell you, I came in second place. And I will say this too. To count the slices, we did not eat the crust. Okay. To count the slices, we did not eat the crust. So that allowed us.
I don't know.
That's how you. It's the only way we could count, right? So knowing that we're not ingesting all of it, right? But we had to keep count legitimately somehow. I came in second place, Jack Gentry, with 37 slices of pizza.
Oh my God. How are you alive today?
I was 16 years old. I just burned a ton of calories. I'd worked out like twice a day, but I came in second. And look, CC's slices are a lot smaller. Yeah.
So you came in second with 37 slices of pizza?
Yeah, that would be my buddy Thomas, who had 43. Again, this is a long time ago. I remember this very, very vividly. We were starving. We didn't eat the crust. That's how we counted. So again, if you add the crust in, you probably shave off 10 slices of pizza, right? Mm-hmm. And CC's got little bitty. They don't have like your big slices, right? CC's pizza's slices are like around that size, right? So just to know all that, but yeah.
Oh my gosh. I mean, the next 24 hours had to be some of the worst hours of your entire life.
It wasn't like I remember eating 37 slices of pizza. I don't remember how bad or how not bad the next 24 hours were. But
you have to have one of those little cinnamon stick things that they have.
No, man. Why would I waste any type of stomach room on cinnamon sticks when I was in a tight race with Thomas, who was 6 slices ahead of me.
Oh gosh. That's funny. CC's is the GOAT for that, though. I mean, that's the only place where you can go in. And
the best part of this,
anything.
Yeah, and it was like $6.99 because it's all you can eat for like $6.99.
Oh yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's probably the day where you turned it all around, right?
No, actually, that was 37 slices of pizza would be 18 years ago this summer. The vegetarian thing was 4 years ago. So not quite. But anyway, all right. So Jack wasted some time on that, but I thought that was fun because for some reason pizza came up in the chat. So all right, Jack, quickly, you watched the entire Steve McNair Untold Netflix story yesterday. Can you give us an overview of how you thought, how you feel, what it was like, and should we watch it?
Yeah, so I mean, I'm not going to give away any spoilers here, obviously, because I think everybody needs to watch it. With their own opinions heading in. It was 58 minutes long, and these untold series on Netflix, a bunch of them, like the Johnny Manziel ones, the Florida one, they kind of leave you wanting a little bit more because
Yeah.
it's hard to jam something like that into just 58 minutes and hit everything, especially in Steve McNair's case. Um, as a Titans fan, like I went in to watch that, and the only thing I wanted really out of that was for them to, you know, show just how important Steve McNair was to Nashville, and they did that. I think that you could really feel just how in love the city of Nashville was with Steve McNair, especially after that 99 season where they rattled off all those home wins and made the run to the Super Bowl and came up a yard short, and just kind of how Nashville reacted to that. Um, and like, I do have a couple complaints. Like, obviously the case, like the murder case.
Mm-hmm.
There were a lot of different theories there, and some people still have
Yeah.
doubts about whether or not the Nashville Police Department got it right. And I kind of wish they would have spent a little more time on that at the end. They did spend time on it, but hearing from Jeff Fisher and Brad Hopkins throughout the whole time was really cool. Those two guys are some of the most well-spoken guys, that wore the two-tone blue, or at least worked for the two-tone blue. So, look, I encourage all Titans fans to watch it. It makes you feel things. The last 30 seconds of it is absolutely like heart-wrenching.
Oh no,
Um,
they ended it. They ended you without that with the heart throb.
well, yeah, Jeff Fisher closes us out. But
Oh
yeah,
gosh.
if you've got 58 minutes sometime this week or this weekend, it's definitely something I'd encourage all Titans fans to watch. It brings up the good memories and obviously kind of how things ended. And it was entertaining, which is all you can hope for heading into one of those.
All right, so 58 minutes. I was expecting it
Mhm.
to be longer than that, but okay.
Same. I was expecting it to
Which
be multiple episodes, which it should have
yes,
been. But
right. Well, the good thing about that is I can watch it easier. If it's only just
Mhm.
1 hour, then I can knock that out probably maybe today even. We'll kind of see how that maturates. So a couple comments. American Top Sam needs to watch it so he can realize what McNair meant to the Titans in Tennessee.
and you
Andre
will you
Sam
will you will have an understanding if you watch that. Like,
and
it's
Sam should
impossible
be
not to know.
and I will make this required summer viewing for Sam before the season officially starts. Because yeah, I mean, look, everybody could use a little education. If you weren't here, but I think Buck should watch it. Anybody who didn't grow up in Nashville with the Titans in that era, or if you were an adult during that era, you need to watch it. I think that's pretty good. So great, good update over that. So Jack, let's go ahead and dive into what ESPN published yesterday. It is the 5 NFL teams most likely to improve in the 2024 season. The Titans were overlooked in this. We'll talk through the teams that were put on it before we dive into the Titans aspect of this. But first, I got to tell you guys about our great training camp sponsor this summer. That is Smoky Mountain Tops, family owned and operated for over 30 years. Smoky Mountain Tops has installed over 100,000 projects, and that's where you should go, to the pros at Smoky Mountain Tops, to update your kitchen or bath countertops. You've seen their work in both Bridgestone Arena and Neyland Stadium, and they will love the opportunity to earn your business. Smoky Mountain Tops is proud to offer the luxurious Handstone and Pimeo Quartz collection, as seen in both their studios in Nashville and Knoxville. Handstone Quartz is known for their quality and exceptional design, with over 50 colors and unique patterns to draw your inspiration from. So call Smoky Mountain Tops to schedule an appointment to see the beautiful Handstone and Pimeo Quartz, 615-922-6539. You can tell them you heard about them on A to Z Sports, especially when you email Christy with her email right there on the screen too, or check them out online at SmokyMountainTops.com. So Jack, are you first surprised that the Titans are not listed as one of the 5 NFL teams most likely to improve this season? I mean, they picked 7th overall. So
Mhm.
they've got a lot of room to grow. We know that. But are you surprised that they were left off? Not getting into the teams that were on there, but just of the concept, would you have thought that the Titans would be on this list?
I'm not surprised they got left off.
Okay.
Nobody spent any time talking about the Titans this offseason outside of this market, and it's crazy because they were one of the loudest teams in free agency with some of their moves. The L'Jarius Sneed trade I thought was brilliant. We hadn't seen a whole lot of them on the practice field, but Like the Titans aren't going to be on this list. The Titans aren't going to drive clicks for any of these sites, including them, doesn't help or hurt some of these national media outlets. And like the last 2 seasons, nobody's wanted to watch a Titans game because of how bad the offense has been. They don't know what Titans fans know about this team heading into 2024. Titans fans are optimistic for good reason. All the money they spent, all the talent they brought in. They've got an entirely new coaching staff, great position coaches, and that doesn't make headlines. So, do I think the Titans are a top 5? One of the 5 teams that will improve the most? Yes. But am I surprised the national media doesn't think so? Of course not.
All right, so Steven on YouTube says this has to include Chicago because media is all over Caleb Williams.
Right.
It does not include the Bears. So shocker. But let's remember this. The Bears did not have the Caleb Williams draft pick. That would be the Carolina Panthers, right? So the Bears picked 9th. So technically, as far as like win-loss records go, the Bears have less room to improve than some of the other teams. So I'm going to go in chronological order for what Bill Barnwell did with this article. Now, Bill Barnwell has said that he has been doing this for, I think this is his fifth or sixth year that he's doing that. He says 27 out of the 33 teams that he has previously picked to improve in this article in years past have improved in win-loss records. So Bill Barnwell is also trying to say, hey, I've got my gambling record on the line here. I got to pick the 5 teams that he's most confident in to have a better win-loss record this season compared to last season. So I do think that's an interesting caveat to put in there. So Bill Barnwell starts off, and he has headlines for all 5 of these teams, which I like the idea of this, and that's why we're going to get the Titans headline here in a little bit. But the first team that he has is the Chargers, and that is the team that has been in this column 4 times recently. And he says in this little blurb that all 4 times he has had the Chargers in this column, they have improved in the win-loss record each of those 4 times. Now, they had the season where they got up to 13-3, then they fell off the cliff, dropping down to 5-11. And so 5-12 last year, their point differential a -52. Their record last year in games decided by 1 touchdown or less, 3-8. So he's saying a lot of 1-score losses, that the Chargers could improve there. Obviously, Jim Harbaugh in as the head coach. I think if you watch any Chargers games with Brandon Staley, you know that Brandon Staley did a better job losing close games than he did winning close games. So I think it's a strong bet by Bill Barnwell that the Chargers will have a better than a 5-12 record this season. Jack, your quick thoughts.
Yeah, the Chargers roster is worse this year than it was last year.
I would agree.
What the coach upgrade was so significant, and you're only talking about a team that won 5 games last year. I would expect the Chargers to go over that number this year and probably clear it by at least 2 or 3 games at minimum. I think Herbert finally takes that next step with a head coach who's a little more stable and who's kind of got more of a plan for the offense at least going forward. So, but they lost a lot of talent, so we'll see. But not surprised to see the Chargers on this list.
All right, the second team on Bill Barnwell's 5 teams most likely to improve in the win-loss record this season. The second headline is team that had a sneaky great defense last season. That is the New England Patriots. So once again, 4 wins last year. So a lot of opportunity to have more wins. Record last season in games decided by 7 or fewer, 4-8. So there's close games, but a point differential of -130. So, and projected strength of schedule, the toughest in the NFL. So, Jack, toughest strength of schedule in the NFL. I don't think the Patriots did a ton to improve their roster. Gerard Mayo's in as a first-time head coach after being on that staff, coaching defensive positions the last couple of years to replace Bill Belichick. 5 wins for the Patriots seems like a tall task in my book.
Oh, yeah, and it's only 5 wins. I mean,
yeah.
Where is the strong point of this roster, right? And by the way, Drake May in the preseason hasn't really won me over yet. And not to mention the fact that he doesn't have a whole lot to throw to on offense. Like Jalen Polk, Washington's number 2 receiver last year, sometimes number 3 receiver, is going to be their number 1 or number 2 up there. So, I don't get it. And Gerard Mayo, sure, like new era up there, but still, that's 5 wins is a small number, but for the Patriots, it feels a whole lot tougher to get there, especially considering their schedule. Like, I don't know what Barnwell saw on this team to be like, yeah, no, they'll definitely improve.
Yeah, Daft says, I live in New England. Everyone here thinks they're going to win 2 games. So, okay, so that's that one. And then so the next one, and so these all have the headlines, and the next one is the team that should get much better quarterback play, and that is the Washington Commanders. So the record in 23, 4-13, so minus of 189 point differential. Games decided by 7 or fewer, 3-5, so less close games than the first 2 teams on this list. They picked 2nd overall. The Patriots picked 3rd overall, both having the same record. So you've got a new quarterback, a new head coach, Dan Quinn in, Jaden Daniels in. Jaden Daniels looks talented so far in the preseason, but they trade away Chase Young, a talented defensive player midseason last year. Terry McLaurin's good, really good, in fact, at the outside at receiver. But I guess that's kind of couching on the 2nd and 3rd worst teams in the league to have more wins than with a new coach than a year ago. But Jack, what are your thoughts on Washington being on this list?
They need a wide receiver too, and poor Terry, man. I hope the Commanders are successful because Terry McLaurin deserves it. But they've got a really strong interior defensive line, similar to the Titans. I think they should improve, and I don't trust that division. Like the NFC East, the Giants are 2 free ones. I don't think the Eagles will be as good as they were, and the Cowboys I don't think will be as good as they were. So, there's definitely room for improvement from Washington, in my opinion.
All right, so moving along this list, and if you're not pissed off yet, get ready to be really pissed off, because the 4th team on Bill Barnwell's list of his 5 most likely to improve in the win-loss column is the team that added major improvements at wide receiver. Damn, does that sound like the Tennessee Titans? But no, it is the back-to-back Super Bowl champions, Kansas City Chiefs, who went 11-6 last year, had a plus 77 point differential, 4-4 in games decided by 7 or fewer, and has the 8th easiest schedule in the league. Bill Barnwell is just saying, I think the Chiefs are going to have more than 11 wins this year compared to last year. Got off to a slow start, but I mean, having the damn Super Bowl champs back to back, trying to go for a 3-peat on this list is a spit in the face towards other teams who put together offenses or off season. So I think this is garbage. As I said, garbage now 2 shows in a row.
But Chiefs fans will click and they'll move the needle, and Bill Barnwell knows exactly what he's doing there. Like Hollywood Brown, does that really move you that
Xavier
much?
Worthy, the fastest guy in the history of the NFL Combine, is catching passes from Patrick Mahomes, and he's not just John Ross fast. He's like a good receiver fast.
The wind at Arrowhead is going to blow him over. The guy's like 150 pounds soaking wet. Like that should not immediately throw you in the top 5 teams that could be most improved heading into this year. And also, you're talking about a team that won the Super Bowl. Yeah. How much better can it get?
Yeah, the whole point is like the Chiefs' regular season win-loss record does not matter. It is irrelevant. As long as they are one of the 7 AFC teams in the playoffs and Patrick Mahomes is healthy in January, the Chiefs are going, like, you can't really improve that much more after a back-to-back Super Bowl championship. No team has ever gone 3-peat in the NFL. So that I think one of the stronger chances to have that happen. We'll see if that happens. And
by the way, they lost L'Jarius Sneed, not easy to replace.
Sure. Without a doubt. So the 5th team on this list, and this is a team that had terrible luck when facing quarterbacks last season, the Arizona Cardinals. So the 4th worst team in the NFL last season, 4-13, minus 125 point differential, 2-5 in games decided by 7 points or fewer. Look, the luck they played, like, okay, what does that mean, right? Like, I mean, Kyler Murray was out last year for the majority of it until he came back from the ACL. So, they have their second-year coach in Jonathan Gannon, a lot to improve from with Monty Austinfort, former Titans assistant GM, is that GM now for year 2. They've collected so many draft picks to reload. I think having the Cardinals in this could make some sense. They do play in the NFC West with the Super Bowl runner-ups in the Niners, a really good team in the Rams, and the team we just saw really up close and personal for the last week with the Seattle Seahawks. So Yeah, 5 games. So I guess to kind of recap here, Jack, because I think the Cardinals are they can be fair on this list, right? But on this list of 5 teams, you've got the team, 3 of the 4 worst teams in football, and then the 5th worst team in football. So I guess 4 of the 5 worst teams. The only team that had a top pick that's not on this list is the team that didn't pick in the top 10 that deserved and earned the number 1 draft pick, the Carolina Panthers. So we don't expect them to be any good this season. But then you have the 2nd pick in Washington, the 3rd pick in New England, the 4th in Arizona, and the 5th in the LA Chargers. The other team that's not on this list that picked ahead that had a worse season than the Titans, the New York Giants, who is a disaster with Daniel Jones at quarterback. So the Titans didn't make this list. The Chiefs did. So let's ask this question to the chat, and I'm sure has plenty of opinions to share. And that is, which of these NFL teams is least deserving among the 5? I think there are more than just one option. But which of these 5 teams is least deserving of the 5 on this? But first, I want to tell you guys about the DeAndre Hopkins Youth Football Camp, because we have partnered with D-Hop and his football camp team to have you guys go out there and have a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for your son or daughter, ages 9 through 15, to get a great, intimate, on an NFL field experience with a future Hall of Fame receiver in Titans DeAndre Hopkins. It's at Nissan Stadium, September 1st, 1:30 through 4 o'clock on that Sunday afternoon. D-Hop's back in town after spending some time in LA. I'm working with Amy on some exclusive content we're going to have with DeAndre Hopkins for you guys coming up soon, and especially at the camp. But if you want a chance for your son or daughter ages 9 to 15 to go to the DeAndre Hopkins football camp for $80, right? It's for $80 because you get 20% off with our code ATOZ20. That's ATOZ20. That's 20% off your entire purchase there. And they've added to it because it's not just a camp opportunity for your son or daughter. There is a meet and greet upgrade. There is on-field passes for parents limited that have an opportunity to go see this up close and personal, and also locker room tours available too, all in the link that I just posted in the chat. So if you want to go to D-Hop's camp, you've got that $80 for a 2.5 hour, 3 hour experience with future Hall of Fame receiver DeAndre Hopkins on Nissan Stadium's turf. So check that out right there on the link I just posted in the chat. So Jack, I will send you to said chat. And the team that is least deserving to be in the top 5 NFL teams most likely to improve this season, what's the chat saying?
Darren, Kyle, Mario, Anthony, and Patrick are all on the Chiefs. Jeff Rubel says Chiefs then Pats. Eric Castillo says it's the Chiefs. Jared's going Chargers. We've got a couple more Chiefs coming in from Rooney, Curtis, and Willie. Washington from Jody. We've got New England and KC from Darius Horton. The Patriots, a couple Patriots answers from Deshaun and IR. But, I mean, we're seeing mostly Chiefs here. Scott, Rashid, David, Rhino, all on the Chiefs. Burning Devil comes in at Patriots. I think Patriots are the second most popular, followed by the Chargers here with Tall Texan chiming in with the Chargers because they lost a lot of talent. They did. Mike Williams, Keenan Allen, both walk out the door. We'll see how they replace them. Not to mention Austin Eckler also leaving. He's going to be in Washington this season. Kansas City from Maven. More KC. We've got Washington, the Pats, the Chargers. To me, it's the Patriots, Austin. I get it. I get why people are pissed about the Chiefs being on there. You win the Super Bowl. You know, it's hard to really consider them to be one of the most improved teams of the offseason. I get it. They struggled in the regular season. They kind of got hot late, which was frustrating for a lot of NFL fans who thought the Chiefs were down and out, and maybe that window had started to close a little bit. But it's the Patriots. I mean, you're talking about the worst team in the NFL talent-wise outside of Carolina, who's playing the toughest schedule, and you're expecting them to improve. That's not an easy division either. Like, I get it. The Bills got a little bit worse. They had a lot of talent leave on defense. They got rid of their top 2 wide receivers. But you're still talking about a Jets team with Aaron Rodgers and plenty of skill guys around them. You've got the Miami Dolphins, who are an impossible team to match up with unless you're the Titans on Monday Night Football.
Or you play them in sub 40-degree weather.
Right. And so I don't get I don't get why the Patriots deserve to be on this list, especially considering like Drake May hasn't looked like an all-star. I mean, why the Titans were left off of this list is probably because they're in a lot of faith in Will Levis outside of this market. So why are people so high on Drake May? I don't understand.
Yeah. So look, Troy says the Bills will win 7 or 8 games. I mean, I don't know.
Sure. They'll probably beat the Patriots twice.
Right. And they play the Patriots in 2 times in the last 3 weeks of the season. At Buffalo right before Christmas, and then at home versus the Bills in January 5th. So that's a really strange draw from the Patriots and the Bills on that scheduling right there. Kind of similar to what the Titans have had in the past with the Texans, but man, that's weeks 16 and 18. So look, the Patriots open at the Bengals. They're going to lose that game. They host the Seahawks. The Seahawks are better. Then they go to New York Jets. Like Aaron Rodgers, I don't think is going to get hurt on play number 4 the entire season this season. That would be crazy. I mean, I expect him to make it to week 3. That's not asking a ton. Well, then they also have
the Jets waiting week 2 though.
That's right. That's true. Then they go to the Niners. So non-divisional games for the Patriots to add up to the toughest schedule in the NFL. At the Niners, home versus the Texans, at the Titans, which is the only game the Titans are favored in before the season starts, is that one. At the Bears, much improved. Home versus the Rams, who are a good football team. Home versus the Colts, December 1st. That's kind of a who knows what Anthony Richardson could be. He could either be really taking off or be hurt again. Then you got Joe Flacco. That could be Joe Flacco season. Then you've got at the Cardinals and then home versus the Chargers. So let's just look at potential wins on the Patriots schedule. They play the Dolphins. I just mentioned you can beat the Dolphins if you play them in sub 40-degree weather, and New England definitely has that, but not when they play the Dolphins at home on October 6th. So that doesn't help you at all. They got the Jags. I mean, maybe they can beat the Jets at home. I don't think so. Are there whoever it was that I forget the name that said that they're from New England and they think they're going to win 2 games? I kind of think 2 games is kind of what they have a chance to win. I would put the over under at 2.5 and have a tough time deciding between 2 or 3 wins. I think the Patriots are going to suck. And so I think this, Bill Barnwell is playing the game of how many can I get right on who's going to have a better win-loss record than a year ago. And he picked 3 teams that had 4 wins last year. So he's trying to just get to 5 wins, but I don't see 5 wins on the Patriots schedule, even if their defense is really good. And then they just traded away one of the better players than Matthew Judon on the defense.
And I don't even think their defense will be that good. There's not a whole lot of talent on that. Like Christian Barmore, I like, sure. And I think Christian Gonzalez is going to be a good cornerback. But outside of those 2 guys, they've got Jabril Peppers starting. I mean, they've got a lot of special teamers starting on defense. Like Gerard Mayo, I do think will hope. I think I'm pulling for Gerard Mayo to work out. I think he's a good defensive mind, but at the same time, you've got a defensive-minded head coach with a rookie quarterback. There's no guarantee that those guys click right off the bat. And I don't know how many games the Patriots are going to be favored in this year, but it can't be more than 2.
Yeah, and look, somebody said this is a development year or evaluation year for the Patriots. Yeah, it is. And that they're not going to fire Gerard Mayo after this season. At least they shouldn't, because they're trying to figure out what the right long-term approach is for this new era post Bill Belichick. Andre says, how is a 1-win improvement considered most improved?
Great question.
It's a good question, but I think Bill Barnwell is just saying, and this is year 6 that he's done this column of 5 teams to improve, or however many teams to improve. And he is 27 out of the 33 teams that he has predicted have improved their win-loss record. So that is just how he's judging it by. And I think the Titans could be a very much improved football team this year, but maybe only win 1 more game. But you could see the product between the lines is way better than a year ago, but just be 7-10 instead of 6-11. I don't think that's crazy to think because of the schedule that the Titans have and so on and so forth. So look, I think I'm sorry, I laughed at Jared with the Bill Bongwell name there. It's pretty funny. But so answering the question, which team least deserves to be on this list? I think it's between the Patriots and the Chiefs. I don't think the Chiefs deserve to be on this list. I think it is very disrespectful of a lot of other teams this offseason to put the Chiefs on this list. Like, the Chiefs are not what this column and exercise is meant to be, right?
Mhm.
Like, you're not trying to be like, oh yeah, I'm just trying to pick 5 teams that are going to win more games than they did a year ago. Because if you're doing that, then the Chiefs is a good bet. But that's not most improved from one year to the next. That's not what the exercise is supposed to be. So I think the Chiefs being on this list is a cheap one. It's a cheap pick, in my opinion. And there's so many other options. Like, what was the Bears record last year? 7-10?
Yeah, they won 7 or 8 games.
I think that's a good. The Falcons won 7, right? I think that's a good pick too. Like, the Falcons with all the trades they've made recently, and then also having Kirk Cousins and Michael Penix Jr. Like, I think there's so many options.
The
of
Jets,
teams.
even.
The Jets, absolutely. The Raiders, who were a disaster last year, and then they pulled out of it, and now they've got a new quarterback and some Antonio Pierce with the. If you watch the Netflix show Receiver, then you saw how toxic it was before with Josh McDaniels. So I think there's just so many better options and well-deserving options for this list than putting the freaking Chiefs on there.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. It does kind of blow a hole in this whole case. And most improved, I totally agree with. I think it was Andre who said it's just gonna, how much better can 11 wins get? 12 wins in a 17 game season, like that. Is that really improving by a whole lot if you're the Kansas City Chiefs and you've got the best quarterback in the NFL and probably the best tight end still in the NFL? I'm not so sure.
Yeah, it's cheating. He's cheating his own game is what he's doing, right? He's taking a shortcut because he's like, I'm 27 and 30 out of 33 teams, so I'm going to put the Chiefs in there because I think they'll win 12 or 13 games, which will probably happen. But that doesn't mean anything compared to what the Chiefs' work was this past offseason compared to the Texans had a great year last year and did a ton of work in the offseason. But I think it'll be a bad thing to put the Texans as most improved because they surprised everybody. But I think it's like, he's cheating his own exercise for the sake of his track record.
Mm-hmm. I think there's 2 reasons why the Titans weren't on this list. And one is because they got rid of Vrabel. And Vrabel was a guy that the national media was very fond of. They thought he was a good coach. And, obviously you see him in the playoffs for the majority of his tenure outside of these last 2 years. And it's easy to be like, oh, yeah, Vrabel's the guy. Why the hell would they ever move on from him? It's the Titans. And what do you think?
Are you about to get to your second one?
Well, yeah.
Okay. All right. I was going to have you wait because I want to spend more time on your second one. So so Mike Vrabel is your first reason why. And we'll get to your second reason why here in a second for why the Titans aren't on this list. But first, the Bone and Joint Institute is where you should turn for all of your injury needs. Speaking of Mike Vrabel, he's gone. So maybe the Titans injury bug will go with him. So the Titans are trying to stay healthy this year. You can get back to health physically with the Bone and Joint Institute. They've been serving Tennesseans over the last several years since they came together to create a one-stop shop for all of your injury situations in Franklin off of I-65 and Highway 96, right next to Williams Medical Center. All the experts and the resources under one roof. They've also got physical therapy centers and clinics sprinkled around Williamson County and growing, and they can help you out with your injury situation, whether it's you, your son, your daughter, maybe a family member that gets hurt because life happens. Maybe it's intramural sports or youth sports there too, where injuries always happen to occur. Don't let that injury linger. Go get it checked out like I've done a few times here in the last couple of years with the Bone and Joint Institute, and book an appointment online at boneandjointtn.org.
BetMGM, guys, sign up on this app this week so you can get in before those lines move. The Florida State Georgia Tech lines already moved 2 points in Georgia Tech's favor. So if you're looking to get in on the game this Saturday, go ahead and do it early before everybody else pounds these lines into oblivion and sucks all the value out of it. And new users, sign up with our bonus code A to Z Sports so you can get up to $1,500 back in bonus bets if your first bet misses. I know everybody's going to want to spray the board these next few weekends. We're really these next few months. So download BetMGM and use our bonus code A to Z Sports.
All right. So Jack, you said your first reason why you think the Titans were left off the list from Bill Barnwell is because Mike Vrabel's gone. And that was a lot of the notoriety from the national landscape of the NFL. So no Mike Vrabel. Your second reason why the Titans are left off the list of 5 teams most likely to improve in 2024 by Bill Barnwell on ESPN is what?
Because if the Titans improve this season, a lot of it's going to have to do with Will Levis. And that's a guy that a lot of the national media has doubted. Like, right, the second round pick, he's not a guy they're talking about ever. They're gonna that would mean that they're gonna have to own up to not properly evaluating Will Levis. And that's something these people, whether it's national media guys or just talking heads, they hate admitting they were wrong. And they're not ready to do it without real hard evidence that Will Levis is the guy for the job in Tennessee. Titans fans, like, I get it. There's a lot of tools in his toolbox we love, but we haven't seen it. The guy won 3 games, 3 out of his 9 starts last season. Like, with a new roster, hopefully things get better, but they're not going to admit they were wrong until they absolutely have to on Will Levis. So I think just the Will Levis bias, or biased against Will Levis,
Anti-biased.
is part of this. Is part of this reason why the Titans aren't included on this list. A lot of people still have question marks. That's fine, but when he does prove everyone wrong, I hope they come around the corner, or I hope they come around on him and admit they might have been wrong in his evaluation.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Mike Vrabel thing has some truth to it because we know how respected he is across the league. I think the Levis thing is the main reason, is because I don't necessarily think any national prognosticator wants to put their predictive reputation on the line based on Will Levis's ability to win or lose games. And so, but when you look around the league, if you're actually saying, okay, roster to roster, who has improved the most across the board with net additions and subtractions? And I think the Tennessee Titans have to be top 2, probably not 2, right? From just the bare bones of the roster, if every position group is weighed equally, I think it's top 2, not 2 for the Tennessee Titans. Because we know there is going to be at least half of the starter 22 are new faces. And then you put 3 of those in there that are second-year players that have a lot of upside, including the quarterback, the left guard, and your co-starting running back. So I think, and then you talk about the offense, the coaching staff, and just the entire modernization of the franchise in just a short few months. Yes, there's a first-time head coach and a new quarterback, but you've got Gerard Mayo, who's never been a coordinator, and a quarterback in Drake May, who's never played in a game. At least you have Brian Callahan, who might not have called plays in a game, but he's been a coordinator for 5 years, and Will Levis has played in 9 games. And go look at the Titans free agency versus the Patriots free agency. And you got to admit the Titans have added more proven players than the Patriots have. It's not even close.
The Titans got substantially better at 4 different positions this offseason. The offensive line as a whole, wide receiver, cornerback, and safety. All of those position groups received a major boost this offseason. And because you got better at so many different positions, and we're talking about the most important positions now in football, offensive line, Will Levis was hit on 25% of his dropbacks last season. There's no way that happens again with this group, knock on wood. And, with more time and more comfortability in the pocket, Will Levis is going to be a more dangerous passer. Like, that's and with better receivers, these are all correlated. And then you're talking about stopping the pass. The Titans so often lost games last season because they couldn't stop a nosebleed on 3rd down, 3rd and long. The Titans cornerbacks had their back to the football. Trey Avery, Christian Fulton, Eric Garrett, whoever was in there was getting burnt down the sideline more often than not. And that's not going to happen this season, especially with the help you have over top at safety with Amani Hooker and Quandre Diggs now. So it's an exciting group in general, but the Titans got better at 4 major position groups this offseason, and they're being treated like they didn't make any moves. It doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, and so if you are talking about, if you're removing the quarterback from the situation, and you're talking about the 4 positions that move the needle the most in today's NFL, you're talking about protecting the quarterback, catching the ball from the quarterback, getting after the quarterback, and then stopping the guys who are catching the ball from the quarterback, right?
Mm-hmm.
O-line, wide receiver, defensive front, and then corners, right? That is where the Titans have invested the most in outside of their quarterback that showed enough promise. And Carpet King and Flooring adds a great comment here. Considering Levis didn't practice with the ones before last season started, and with his injury, he got tossed into the fire, the season will be a better evaluation for him. Oh, he didn't even practice with the twos. Like last year in training camp, it was obviously Tannehill, Malik, and Levis, because Levis got hurt after the first preseason game and didn't play in the second and the third preseason game. And so he didn't even get a lot of good work with the twos. And so then all of a sudden he was the quarterback 3 for all the first games except until he was the starter. And so, yeah, 9 games, he was 3-6. He won just as many games as Ryan Tannehill did last season. And I think also another reason why the Titans are not on this list, Jack, is because they won one too many games. I think if they were 5-12 and didn't beat the Jags last year, and all you needed was 6 wins, I think you could put the Titans. I think it would be easier for Bill Barnwell to put the Titans on this list. But that 6th win, meaning he needs 7 for his record, 7 wins is a lot more than 6. It's only 1, but it feels like a lot more of a swing than 6 wins to 7 wins.
And one more thing about this, I think a lot of the national media is getting the AFC South wrong. I don't know what it is about the Colts that have so many people in the national media enamored with them. I don't get it. They made no moves this offseason, and they might have even downgraded by going back to Anthony Richardson after Gardner Minshew did a fine job with them last year. You've got the Jags, who also got rid of one of their major pieces in Calvin Ridley. I don't trust what they're building over there, and I sure as hell don't trust Trevor Lawrence like people in the national media do, but because he was a number 1 overall pick, because they've been talking about him for a few years, they're not going to give up on him until they have to. Same reason or the opposite reason for Will Levis. They're not going to buy in until they absolutely have to. And the Texans, they looked great last year, but they've got an absolute gauntlet ahead of them in 2024 with their schedule. And can they maintain that double-digit win pace that they set last season? I get it. They've got talent, and they brought it. They even got better this offseason. But 11 wins, I don't know if that's a possibility for them this season. I just think the national media is so wrong about the AFC South that they might believe it's harder for the Titans to stack divisional wins than it really will be. So that's another factor for me.
Right. I think that's a good point. And Anthony agree with Jack. It's amazing how the media wants to anoint Richardson. Richardson and Levis are in the same boat. No clue. Shouldn't buy into
IR 15. That's who he is.
That's right. All right, Jack. We're going to play a game. Normally we write headlines every day. We want you guys to write headlines because I think this is a fun exercise. Because the one I do like how Bill Barnwell did this because he has a headline for all the teams that he thinks is going to improve. And the Commanders, the team that should get much better quarterback play. The Patriots, the team that had a sneaky great defense last year. The Cardinals, the team that had terrible luck when facing quarterbacks last season. The Chargers, the team that has been in this column 4 times recently. And the Chiefs, who you could probably use this for the Titans, teams that added major improvements at wide receiver. So the question we're going to ask for you, and we want you guys to get creative with this. And if the Titans were in this list, what would their headline be? If the Titans were on this list, what would their headline be? So give us your quick, short headline that we just displayed there. What would the Titans headline be if they were on the top 5 lists of teams to improve? But first, Farm Bureau Health Plans. I'll tell you what their headline is. Better coverage, lower rates, Farm Bureau Health Plans. That's how you do it right there. You can save 20%. That was what Zach Bingham saved on his health coverage per month over 3 years ago. And Zach's been able to use that coverage, and we've got other people with A to Z use that coverage as well. So Farm Bureau Health Plans is where you should turn to help lower your rate, but get the right coverage for you. They're not just going to throw a bunch of different cookie cutter plans at you. They're going to make sure they evaluate your situation, your level of health. If you have a growing family, if you have an older family, whatever it may be, if you're out there on your own, Farm Bureau Health Plans will take care of you to find the right spot for you when it comes to your health coverage. Don't pay out of pocket to go to the dentist twice a year. That should be something you get. If you have contacts, let that be covered. Don't pay out of pocket for your contacts. If you don't need vision, then don't pay for vision. Whatever that is, Farm Bureau Health Plans can take care of you just like they have been doing for Tennesseans for 78 years. Book an appointment online and get a quote today at fbhp.com/ATOZ.
BetMGM.com. Football season's right around the corner. We've got college football action this Saturday. I gave out Montana State yesterday. I think they're going to absolutely dog walk New Mexico on Saturday. It's going to be fun. I'm glad football's finally back. You can get in on the game with BetMGM and do it before it's too late. Get your future bets in. Sign up using our bonus code A to Z Sports, and you'll get up to $1,500 back in bonus bets if your first bet misses. BetMGM's got your back with that first loss. If you use our bonus code A to Z Sports when you sign up to $1,500 back in bonus bets if your first bet misses.
All right. So if the Titans were on this list of 5 teams to most likely improved, what would their headline be? Jack, I am very curious to see what people are coming up with their headline. This will be kind of fun to test your guys' headline ability like we do every day. So what do you see?
Danny Whitson says Titans, by far the most improved roster in the NFL. Matt Stotler, kind of in the same vein here, most improved defensive front. Ken Caniff says no fly zone. The team that finally made it to the 21st century. Lights out D, free agency Titans, the demon team building in the shadows. I love that, Darren. That's hilarious. Free agency Titans. Remember the Titans, a team that has a new offensive era and added a lot of veteran help. First-time coach heading to AFC Championship. Oh, my gosh, I prayed for that headline. Titans, Will Levis' success equals playoffs. Upgraded their whole building from last season. Players, coaches, everybody got better. Levis kicks butt. Team that got better coaching. Let's see. We've got a team who struggles with secondary play. I think that got better. But Titans fill every missing gap needed for Will Levis to succeed. They have absolutely built a comfortable environment and ecosystem around Will Levis heading into his first season as a full-time starter. Out with the old and in with the new. I love that from Jeffrey. Mine's going to be the Tennessee Titans, balanced as all things should be. For the past 2 decades, it's been Derrick Henry, it's been DeMarco Murray, it's been Chris Johnson. It's been all about the running game. And we're finally getting into an era with Brian Callahan where the Titans are going to sling the ball around. They've got Tajay Spears and Tony Pollard. If that's any indication on how they plan to use their running backs, those dudes are going to be catching a lot of passes out of the backfield. The Titans are going to be unpredictable when they show up to the line of scrimmage. You're not going to know whether or not they're going to run the ball or throw the ball. That's why they're going to be balanced on offense. And when you flip it to the defensive side, I do think the defense and the offense will be able to help each other out this season. You've like we talked about, you've got a secondary that can stop the pass. That's where the Titans have been getting burned lately. And you've got an offense who can stay on the field and keep that defense, help the defense keep some of that energy. They're not going to have to be on the field for 45 minutes every game. So I think the Titans will be more balanced in 2024, and I think that will ultimately lead to more success and more wins on the field.
I like that. That's pretty good. So my headline is sticking with the Bill Barnwell theme. The Titans are the team that did the most to protect their quarterback from failure. And I think it's about all sides of the ball, like you're saying. The Titans defense was not that bad last year until it was, right? It was the dam broke because it was so many 3-and-outs and punts and losing the time of possession or bad turnovers that put them in a bad spot, forcing field goals in the red zone, not allowing a bunch of points, and keeping it a 1-score game in the fourth quarter until the dam broke, until the defense gave up that last scoring drive to put the opponent over 20 points where the Titans offense had little to no chance. And so even from protecting their quarterback from failure to having a more competent, solid defense that's aggressive to get after the football, to create more opportunities for the offense, and then to protect their quarterback from failure, I think the Titans can have a successful season if Levis isn't just like breakout player of the year. Like, he doesn't have to be extraordinary. He just needs to be a little bit above average to good. And the Titans can do some really big things because of the offensive philosophy change, the offensive line philosophy and personnel change, the new receivers and tight ends and weapons and how they're going to be utilized, and just the overall style of what they're going to be doing. And so, and Curtis says, Will Levis just needs to be consistent. If he's average to good this year, the Titans are going to be a good football team that are going to improve on their 6 wins from a year ago and are going to be on the graphic, in the hunt, or in the wild card spot, or maybe even position himself for the South in December. That's all you want, right? Zach Bingham's big thing, be on the graphic. And the Titans spent a lot of weeks last year in December not on the graphic. If you are on the graphic, in the hunt, in the wild card, or wherever, that's where the Titans need to be going in December, meaning they're going to have more than 6 wins if that's the case. But it's not about Will Levis breaking through to be the franchise this year. It's protecting him from failure, because we've seen the Titans franchise not do this with franchise or high drafted quarterbacks in the past, or they get broken, right? Or they don't do enough around them. Bryce Young is on the verge of being set up for failure in Carolina. Daniel Jones is set up for failure in New York. So I think Will Levis is being protected from failure this year.
Mm-hmm. And Will Levis won't feel like he has to make a big play every play this season like he did last year. You know, the big shots to D-Hop and NWI and Chris Moore, while they were fun to watch, like he doesn't have that pressure on himself to do everything like he might have felt last season as a rookie behind a really bad offensive line. He's got a whole lot more help, and that's going to help his confidence. That's going to help with his decision making. And if he can kind of iron out some of those issues in decision making, the Titans are going to have a big season. They will. He's going to throw for 4,000 yards if he can stay healthy. So it's been 26 games, Austin, since the Titans offense last scored 30 points in a game.
Are you
that
sure?
Changes
It's
season.
been longer than that.
It hasn't been longer?
Yes.
What's the number?
I think it's 35.
35. Austin Huff gave me 26 yesterday, so that's why I went with it.
I'm pretty sure, because last year 0.
Too long. It's been too long.
The year before 0. To my knowledge, the last time they had 30 points in the game was in the second to last, I think it was week 17 of 2021 season against the Miami Dolphins at home. It was a rainy game, 31-3. Tua had an awful day, and the Titans dominated that game. 31-3, I believe, was the final score. And that might have been January 3rd of 2022. But that would be 35 regular season games.
Not good.
The last 30-point season. Game.
Not good. But that does change this season with Brian Callahan, with Will Levis, with these weapons he's got.
Yeah, we'll see if the bingo board can hit this time around. All right, Jack. Look, good topic today. I think that's very interesting as far as teams to improve. I think we dissected that article from Bill Barnwell pretty well overall. It is now, though, time for a little Wednesday sports trivia. And shout out to our friends at Wilson County Hyundai. Make them a part of your new car buying process. Go see them in Lebanon. Save some money on that ride by checking them out in Lebanon or online at wilsoncountyhyundai.com. Jack, are you ready for some trivia?
Let's do it.
All right, here we go now with our transition. Is Jack's screen getting ready to share here? Maybe? Okay, there we go. All right, so we got screwed by the pop-up ad last week, and we crashed and burned with probably our worst trivia performance.
So annoying.
In time. But we were rusty. Right? We had basically been off trivia for like a month. So, all right, so I will look, and we're going rapid fire. I also forgot a rule that we put in place last time is that we start with the NFL. We start with the NFL, and then I will collect the order of categories that we have from the chat. So let's see here. Jeff picks snacks and candy, but it's not available. That's just his go-to. So we will go NFL, then music, then chain restaurants. NFL, music, and chain restaurants to start. So NFL, music, chain restaurants, then the NBA. So we're being asked if you can zoom in a little. I don't want to zoom in too much because that will hurt
that ad that's going to come get us.
So, all right, let's do NFL, music, chain restaurants, and NBA. Let's hit it.
All right. 33 years old, this journeyman quarterback went 13-1 as the regular season starter for the 98 Falcons and led them to Super Bowl XXXIII.
Oh my God. Oh my God. It's on the tip of my tongue. Chris Chandler. Chris Chandler. Good job, Nick. I could not come. I was trying to so hard not to say Collinsworth. All right. So now music.
Oh, we went to television. All right. This is from 08 to 2013. This Fox sci-fi series created by J.J. Abrams followed an FBI team who used science to investigate unexplained and often ghastly occurrences related to a parallel universe.
I don't know this one. I do know there was a show called Ghost, wasn't there? I don't know if this was it or not because I don't watch.
I'm not a sci-fi guy.
Fringe.
We're getting
Fringe. We're getting Fringe. Fringe is all over it. All right, let's go music.
No matter what I do, all I think about is you. Even when I'm with my boo boy, you know I'm crazy over you. Our lyrics from What 02, Nelly and Kelly Rowland.
My boo. It's right in there. Boom. All right. Oh,
Not
what?
Right. All right. Chain restaurants. The classic roll, center of the roll, and enchiladas are all items that can be found on on this menu of a baked goods chain. Classic roll, center of the roll, enchiladas. Baked goods chain.
I don't know.
Me neither.
Baked good chain. I can't believe that we missed Dilemma. Cinnabon? I mean, Cinnabon is the only baked
Yeah, that's got to be what it is. Yep.
Okay.
All right.
Movies. I apologize.
This is gonna be bench warmers here.
Yep.
Okay, we're gonna get that and go. All right, let's go to geography.
Okay.
Capital of Egypt. That's Cairo, right?
Yep. All right. So
okay.
NBA.
Winning exec of the year, Bob Myers was a general manager of what Western Conference team? That would be the Golden State Warriors.
Mm-hmm.
Soccer. Professional career bouncing between Man U and Juventus. Paul Pogba represented what country? He's a Frenchman.
I don't know. Okay, that's great. Celebrity matchup. Then we can get the dilemma. Jamie Foxx.
Okay.
And he has 2 X's.
Yeah.
Who's the inside there? Come on, chat. You guys can get this.
Tyra Banks, maybe?
Yes, no, we can see you. You just have terrible comments. Inside face. Angela Bassett. Angela Bassett coming from Ashley and from Matt and Marv. Boom. Double
dipping.
Dilemma. Oh, boom. 311. Okay, but we missed one.
With a miss, though.
Damn it. That's my fault. And honestly, if I had just waited 5 more seconds, Dilemma would have been in the chat. But that's my fault. It's my loss on this.
Is this our best time?
Yeah, it might be our best time, but we didn't do a perfect 10. So I don't think that counts.
No, it's flawed. We got to miss, Good time though. That wasn't easy either. The Cinnabon one really made us think for a little while. I think.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know what the hell is a what in the world is a baked goods chain? Like I don't really know what to do with that. So, that's my fault on Dilemma. I should have known that. I feel bad.
It's all right. It was a good effort. We'll have to get it right next Tuesday. It makes us work harder for next Tuesday. So good stuff by the chat, though. The chat helped us out with a few answers there that we absolutely needed.
All right, guys. That'll be it for us on this Wednesday. Don't forget, Titans training camp is live in 43 minutes, and Sam will have great content from there. So make sure you hit that like button on the show on Facebook and on YouTube. Like the show before you head out of here, and content will start going out on all of our social media at 10 a.m. So make sure you check that out. Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, everywhere for Titans training camp. Last couple of days of that. Buck Rising live tonight at 7 p.m. Central on these same platforms. And we'll catch you guys tomorrow on a Thursday. Appreciate it as always. Thanks.
Tighten Up Pod with Buck Rising talks about Big Jeff and Titans Bears.